Foreign Language Skills. Module 12. 12.1. Module 12. 12.2.
We are living in the beginning of a mass extinction. Our climate is breaking down. Children like me are giving up their education to protests. But we can still fix this. You can still fix this. To survive, we need to stop burning fossil fuels. But this alone will not be enough. Lots of solutions are talked about. But what about a solution that is right in front of us? I'll let my friend George explain.
There is a magic machine that sucks carbon out of the air, costs very little, and builds itself. It's called a tree. A tree is an example of a natural climate solution. Mangroves, peat bogs, jungles, marshes, seabeds, kelp forests, swamps, coral reefs, they take carbon out of the air and lock it away. Nature is a tool we can use to repair our broken climate. These natural climate solutions could make a massive difference.
Pretty cool, right?
But only if we also leave fossil fuels in the ground.
Here's the crazy part. Right now, we are ignoring them. We spend 1,000 times more on global fossil fuel subsidies than on natural-based solutions.
Natural climate solutions get just 2% of all the money used on tackling climate breakdown.
This is your money. It is your taxes and your savings.
Even more crazy, right now when we need nature the most, we're destroying it faster than ever.
Up to 200 species are going extinct every single day.
Much of the Arctic ice is gone. Most of our wild animals have gone. Much of our soil has gone.
So what should we do?
What should you do?
It's simple. We need to protect, restore, and fund. Protect. Tropical forests are being cut down at the rate of 30 football pitches a minute.
Where nature is doing something vital, we must protect it.
Restore. Much of our planet has been damaged.
But nature can regenerate, and we can help ecosystems bounce back.
Fund.
We need to stop funding things that destroy nature and pay for things that help it.
It is that simple. Protect, restore, fund.
This can happen everywhere. Many people have already begun using natural climate solutions. We need to do it on a massive scale.
You can be part of this.
Vote for people who defend nature.
Module 12. 12.3.
I remember the first time I saw a blue whale.
Oh, look. Wow.
I've followed them since childhood.
What do you think it's from? Is it from a ship?
I could see plastic everywhere. We were in what we thought was a relatively pristine environment. I started to wonder what was happening in oceans elsewhere on the planet. Growing up, my world was the ocean. It's where I feel the most spiritual.
As a freediver, it was the place where I proved myself to myself. Finally, have the opportunity to pay the sea back.
Only a fraction of the plastic that we produce is recycled.
This is never going to degrade. It's got nowhere to go.
This was something that these animals, they were forced to endure because it was man-made and we'd put it into their environment.
The record is 276 pieces of plastic inside of one 90-day-old chick.
If the plastics are in the food chain for the dolphin, they're also in our food chain.
Exactly.
Communities are built on these landfill sites.
So sweet potatoes, corn, sugar cane, all growing on 40 years of garbage.
Do you have anything not wrapped in plastic?
No.
We have to make our life better for our kids' children. Change is possible. It starts with us.
Module 12. 12.4.
The planet's climate has constantly been changing over thousands of years. The global average temperature today is about 15 degrees centigrade. Scientists are worried that the planet is warming faster than ever before. The 20 warmest years on record have been in the past 22 years, according to the World Meteorological Organization. If this trend continues, temperatures may rise by 3 to 5 degrees centigrade by 2100. Scientists say we should try and stop this trend and not allow the average global temperature to rise more than 1.5 degrees. That even a 2 degrees centigrade rise would be bad for us all. Now, half a degree doesn't sound like much, but it could make a big difference to the planet. A 2 degrees centigrade rise would mean that all the coral reefs would disappear, but a 1.5 degrees centigrade rise means that there would still be some. Also, 18% of the insects on Earth will disappear if the temperature goes up by 2 degrees centigrade, compared to 6% disappearing at 1.5 degrees centigrade. 37% of people will be affected by dangerous heat waves at 2 degrees centigrade. That's twice the number compared to at a 1.5 degrees centigrade rise. Whether it's coral reefs, crops, floods, or the survival of species, scientists say everyone and everything is far better off in a world that limits the rise to 1.5 degrees centigrade. So what can we do? Scientists say that carbon will have to be sucked out of the air by machines and stored underground, and that these devices exist already. They also say that billions of trees will have to be planted. People should buy less meat. Of all the foods we eat, beef has the biggest impact on climate change because it produces a high amount of greenhouse gases. Also, some have suggested not buying new clothes too often because the fashion industry is a major source of the greenhouse gases that are overheating the planet. And of course, using transport that doesn't burn fossil fuels, like electric cars. It's even better to walk or ride a bike.
Module 12. 12.5. Module 12. 12.6.
Climate change. It's real, it's serious, and it's up to us to solve it. In the last 2 decades, we've experienced 14 of the hottest 15 years on record. By 2050, drought and chronic water shortages could impact 1 billion people, while millions more will be at risk from coastal flooding. It can seem overwhelming, but there's reason for hope. If we embrace solar and wind power to their full potential, we can cut the world's yearly carbon emissions by 1/3. Already, Germany generates 27% of its electricity from renewables, with a goal of 80% by 2050. Denmark has shown it can produce more wind energy than it can use, and England is building the world's biggest offshore wind farm. Communities large and small are taking steps. A new public building in Mexico City has an exterior that breaks down air pollutants, erasing the effects of 1,000 cars each day. Paris installed street tiles that harvest energy from foot traffic. Other cities are paving streets with smog-eating concrete and sidewalks with recycled materials. Individuals can make a difference too, through the choices we make every day. If every American driver drove 10 miles less each week, it could eliminate more than 100 billion pounds of carbon from the air each year. New innovations are making important strides possible, and more are on the way, but we can't wait. Reimagining our world's energy future will take a shared sense of urgency from countries, companies, cities, and all of us. Working together, real change is possible. Learn more at natgeo.com/climate.
Module 12. 12.7.
Human activities, from pollution to overpopulation, are driving up the Earth's temperature and fundamentally changing the world around us. The main cause is a phenomenon known as the greenhouse effect. Gases in the atmosphere, such as water vapor, carbon dioxide, methane, nitrous oxide, and chlorofluorocarbons, let the sun's light in, but keep some of the heat from escaping, like the glass walls of a greenhouse. The more greenhouse gases in the atmosphere, the more heat gets trapped, strengthening the greenhouse effect and increasing the Earth's temperature. Human activities, like the burning of fossil fuels, have increased the amount of CO2 in the atmosphere by more than 1/3 since the Industrial Revolution. The rapid increase in greenhouse gases in the atmosphere has warmed the planet at an alarming rate. While Earth's climate has fluctuated in the past, atmospheric carbon dioxide hasn't reached today's levels in hundreds of thousands of years. Climate change has consequences for our oceans, our weather, our food sources, and our health. Ice sheets, such as Greenland and Antarctica, are melting. The extra water that was once held in glaciers causes sea levels to rise and spills out of the oceans, flooding coastal regions. Warmer temperatures also make weather more extreme. This means not only more intense major storms, floods, and heavy snowfall, but also longer and more frequent droughts. These changes in weather pose challenges. Growing crops becomes more difficult. The areas where plants and animals can live shift, and water supplies are diminished. In addition to creating new agricultural challenges, climate change can directly affect people's physical health. In urban areas, the warmer atmosphere creates an environment that traps and increases the amount of smog. This is because smog contains ozone particles, which increase rapidly at higher temperatures. Exposure to higher levels of smog can cause health problems such as asthma, heart disease, and lung cancer. While the rapid rate of climate change is caused by humans, humans are also the ones who can combat it. If we work to replace fossil fuels with renewable energy sources like solar and wind, which don't produce greenhouse gas emissions, we might still be able to prevent some of the worst effects of climate change.
Module 12. 12.8.
You can watch the weatherman on TV to find out what the weather will be like. It might be a nice clear day with no clouds in the sky. The sun might be shining. It could be a cloudy day. Sometimes cloudy days are just dull. On some cloudy days, it begins to rain or snow. Some days are rainy. You need a raincoat, umbrella, and boots on a rainy day. Rain makes the flowers and grass grow. The weather forecast might say that it will be windy. You could have a gentle breeze. It might be very gusty so that the wind pushes you. It is dangerous if the wind is very strong. A hurricane or tornado is very dangerous. Once in a while, the weatherman says there will be hail. Hailstones are hard, cold pellets of ice that fall from the sky. Sometimes the weatherman will say that there will be snow flurries. Sometimes there is just a light dusting of snow. Sometimes there is a blizzard or a snowstorm. It can be dangerous driving through a blizzard. If there is a lot of snow, the streets have to be plowed. You need a hat, coat, mittens, and boots on a very cold day. Sometimes the weather forecast is wrong. The weatherman might say that it will be a sunny day, but then the clouds come in and it rains. That is not good if you are planning a picnic. I prefer sunny days that are warm but not too hot. I like to feel a gentle breeze to cool me down.
Module 12. 12.9.
Hey, Kate, did you read this article in the National Geographic? I can't believe how much man is changing the planet.
Yeah, I had a look at it. Quite interesting, I suppose, if you believe that sort of thing.
What? What do you mean, if you believe that sort of thing? Are you saying you don't believe that we are damaging the planet?
To be honest, Matt, not really.
Are you saying global warming isn't a fact? Deforestation isn't a fact? The greenhouse effect isn't actually happening?
Hey, calm down, Matt. I just think too many people take these things as being definitely true without knowing all the facts.
You really don't think global warming is happening? You know they've said sea levels are going to rise by quite a few meters over the next 50 to 100 years. Weather conditions are getting worse all over the world. Can you remember how many big hurricanes there have been in the United States over the last few years? I think evidence is all around us.
I don't think we have enough information, to be honest. We've only been measuring these things for around 200 or 300 years. We have no idea what was happening 50,000 years ago. For all we know, this is just a natural blip in the whole climate cycle. I don't think we should change how we're living just because of 20 years of abnormal measurements.
And don't you think all the other effects we're having on the planet are destructive?
What do you mean?
I mean, like deforestation, overpopulation, threatening the existence of many endangered animals, pollution of the air and the seas. I mean, I could go on if you want.
No, I understand what you're saying, and yes, it's true that there are several problems worldwide caused by human influence. I think the destruction of the Amazon rainforest is really dangerous, and it's something we could live to regret. I read somewhere that they were considered to be the lungs of the planet, and there we are, happily chopping it all down. And it would be a shame to lose some of those animals that may become extinct, like the rhino or the panda. But we shouldn't interfere with nature. If they are going to become extinct, then we have to allow nature to take its course.
You've just contradicted yourself in 2 sentences, Kate. First, you said it's bad that we're interfering with nature by destroying the rainforest, and then...
That's not the same thing.
Well, of course it is. The only reason 99% of these animals are endangered is precisely because we are threatening their habitats, either by chopping it down, as you say, or by expanding towns and farming into areas where these animals normally live and hunt. You can't destroy an animal's habitat and then turn around and say we can't interfere with nature to save it.
I don't think having 20 panda cubs in zoos around the world is a very smart way to save an animal. It's totally artificial and is cruel to the animals involved.
I would go along with that, yes. The real solution is to save the animal's original habitat. So, does this mean you don't really agree with renewable energy sources either? Don't you see the sense in trying to lessen man's impact on the planet?
I think we need to start looking for alternative sources of oil.
You mean alternative sources of energy?
No, of oil. This country imports too much oil from overseas, and we need to become more self-sufficient.
But that's crazy, Kate. There will be no more oil left in 50 to 70 years' time. We have to start looking seriously at alternative energy sources such as solar and wind.
Look, I don't see it as being very realistic to expect people to go back to using windmills and the like. It's naive to think we could do that. Are all automobiles going to have solar panels in the roof or a little windmill on top?
It would be highly irresponsible of this country to move towards an oil-free future without having planned for where energy is going to come from. I worry that we will all have to start building nuclear power stations again.
If there's no more oil left, then I can't see any alternative. I'm not really worried. We always seem to find a solution to most things, but there are always pessimists like yourself telling the rest of us that the world's going to end, etc., etc. I won't be fooled into panicking.
Fooled? I simply don't understand your blasé attitude towards all this, Kate. Your father works in the power plant, too. I would have thought you would have had a real interest in all this.
My father? My father is the biggest skeptic of all. He thinks everyone is just trying to force up the price of gas and oil to make a quick buck. And, to be honest, I tend to believe him. Take the ozone hole, for example. You don't hear about that anymore. I remember 10 years ago, you couldn't switch on the TV or pick up a newspaper or magazine without seeing satellite images of the huge hole and how we were all going to burn and get skin cancer.
Kate, that was 20 years ago, and you know why we don't talk about it anymore, don't you?
Because we've got some new scare stories to tell people?
Not at all. That was and still is a serious issue, which is why the world leaders got together in Montreal, I think it was, and banned immediately all the chemicals that were causing that ozone hole.
The CFCs?
Exactly. That was a perfect example of mankind actually working together and achieving great results when the need arises. I fear we will have to do the same for all these other issues, such as global warming, and I just hope we won't wake up too late.
Module 12. 12.10.
She'd take Colorado if he'd take her with him. Closes the door before the winter lets the cold in, and wanders strong enough to make him stay. She's answered by the taillights shining through the window pane. He said, I wanna see you again, but I'm stuck in colder weather. Maybe tomorrow will be better. Can I call you then? She said, you're a rambling man, and you ain't ever gonna change. You got a gypsy soul to blame, and you were born for leaving. At a truck stop diner just outside of Lincoln. The night is black as the coffee he was drinking, and in the waitress' eyes he sees the same old light is shining. He thinks of Colorado and the girl he left behind him. He said, I wanna see you again, but I'm stuck in colder weather. Maybe tomorrow will be better. Can I call you then? She said, you're a rambling man, and you ain't ever gonna change. You got a gypsy soul to blame, and you were born for leaving. Born for leaving. Well, it's a winding road when you're in the lost and found. You're a lover, I'm a runner, and we go round and round. And I love you, but I leave you. I don't want you, but I need you. You know it's you that calls me back here, baby. Stuck in colder weather. Maybe tomorrow will be better. Can I call you there? 'Cause I'm a rambling man. I ain't never gonna change. Got a gypsy soul to blame, and I was born for leaving. Born for leaving. When I close my eyes, I see you. No matter where I am, I can smell your perfume through these whispering pines. I'm with your ghost again. It's a shame about the weather, but I know soon we'll be together, and I can't wait till then. I can't wait